Welcome, everyone. This is Coaching in Session. My name is Michael Rearden, and I will be your mindset coach today. And today we're going to be talking about fitness and life coaching. When we look at life coaching, when we look at fitness, I know sometimes people think they're different. However, we do have to look at what the fitness aspect brings to the life or to the mind. I wish I can say that if you get mindset coaching with me, or if you get life coaching with me, or you get relationship coaching with me, that physical fitness and, getting yourself into a better body, it is almost always a part of the conversation because there is an aspect to if you want something. So let's look at relationships for an example. If you want a relationship and you're a guy, most likely I would like you to be more confident. What's the quickest way for confidence? Number one, you can change your outfit, change your hair, look really good, right? Two, you can just go to the gym, get your body right, look really good. You look in the mirror and you say, I look good. Because there's not something that you're like, oh man, I would change this, I would change this. It's like you accept yourself fully. There is a difference between delusion and acceptance because sometimes people, they can look in the mirror and they're truly unhappy, but they say, I'm beautiful just the way I am. There is an aspect to that we can look at. However, I would rather you being a healthy state of mind in a healthy body versus pretending to be in a healthy state of mind because you accept the body that you have. This is not to attack anybody. This is not to belittle anybody who is in a certain circumstance, a certain weight class, a certain mindset. You can live the life that you want. However, most people are not living the lives that they truly want. Most people just live the life that they're living. They live in their circumstance. They live with their current ideals that are not truly their dreams or their final destinations. It's only a moment that they make their eternity. What needs to happen is people need to take accountability. People need to say, enough's enough. I need to get my body right. I need to get my mind right. What do? What's the first step? It could be confidence. It could be pushing ourselves a little bit more past the comfort zone, pushing past fear, getting into that growth zone, getting into that growth mindset, changing our habits, becoming more disciplined. There is so much to life coaching. There's so much to mindset coaching. There's so much to fitness coaching. It's not just, here are some orders, follow these orders and you're going to get the results. This is something that you have to commit to. And many people, they're afraid to commit. They're afraid to take action. But today, if you are interested in committing, if you're interested in taking action, we are going to be talking about what you can do today in order to regain control of your life. Because if you're spiraling out of control, it is time for you to take action. Let's get into that interview with Lee Maasen and myself. Welcome, Lee Maasen, to Coaching in Session. How are you doing today?
Michael, man, I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks so much for coming on. Today, we're going to be talking about your work as a life coach and fitness trainer. You do so much more. I'm going to let you dive into that in just a moment. But I do want to kind of set an intention for us today. We're going to be talking about the physical and mental connection between what is mindset, because it's difficult sometimes for people to take action in their life. It's difficult for people to say they're going to do something, they're going to be consistent, they're going to develop the habits they need to be successful. But yet, if we give ourselves a little bit of discipline, maybe in the gym, maybe in our career or family life, everything starts to fall into place. It's almost like you have all the pieces to the puzzle, but yet many people are afraid to put it together because they don't know where to begin. But today we're going to be helping people learn where to begin, how to begin, and then from there begin to change their whole entire circumstance. In your own words, tell the world who you are, what you do, and how you help.
Yeah, Lee Maasen. I own a personal development company. It's called EluFit. ELU is an acronym for Enhanced Living Limited. Just like you was talking about, man, the mind and the body are not separate. Like they're actually the same thing. Really, we get people to quit hurting themselves. Quit fucking yourself up, for lack of better terms, because forward movement isn't about adding things to their life. So anybody out there listening, and all you people out there, listen, you got to take things away. Like first, people come up to me all the time, Lee, I want to look like you. Like, all right, well, I've been lifting for 18 years, studied Ironman, calisthenics athlete. At least be reasonable with your goals. Let's get you to quit drinking on the weekends first. How about that? And then let's get you to quit binge eating at the end of the day. Let's get you to quit leaving your dishes in the sink. Because, how you do anything is how you do everything. So our approach is we get people to stop doing things first. We get people to remove those things and open up space. And then over time, they build their confidence. They start to have more positive self-talk. They believe in themselves a little bit more. They have better relationships. And it's that upward spiral. And next thing they know, they've lost 40 pounds. They got a six pack. They're looking good. The girl's like squeezing their arms, like, honey, where'd you get those arms? Like, holy crap. And they're like, dang, how did I even get here? Because we get people in a flow state. Like they just start to flow. But there is a lot of resistance at the beginning, just like with anything. Like there's definitely resistance you got to overcome, no doubt. But in a nutshell, really what we do is we use fitness as the vehicle for personal development, because the mind and the body are not separate, kind of like I just said. So we get you disciplined with your diet. We get you disciplined with your workouts. You will not leave dishes in the sink anymore because you're just not that type of person anymore. Like you put the dishes in the dishwasher, keep the sink clean, then it just evolves. Yeah, we use it as the vehicle to better people. I couldn't tell you how many people have come through our program and they get a raise at their current occupation. A lot of them quit their job, start a business. And it's just amazing, man. That's really what is fulfilling for me and my coaches is when we get people to quit drinking alcohol, we get people to quit just destroying themselves. Because I've done it. I think we've all done it.
We do have to look at the onset of this because we just didn't get there by accident, right? Like we didn't fall on the sofa and we say, oh, now I can't get up. We didn't just say, I'm not going to go to the gym anymore. It's just something that laziness has become the standard. Being disciplined and excelling in fitness and health has become something that many people just do because they have more time maybe, or they enjoy the feeling. It's not a lifestyle anymore. It's just, maybe I'll do it. Think of the men who get married and after they're married, they just lose it. They just gain all the weight. They get the dad bods because they have the kids, they have the marriage to take care of. They lose focus. What type of mentality are people stepping into when they go from a place of discipline to a place of maybe not pushing themselves to their capabilities?
In this world, all we have is moments. If we choose weakness over strength, then we just became a little weaker. And then you start stacking what I call those losses up, then you do get lazy. And then the mind, if you continue to lose, and it's those small decisions, it's all the little decisions that add up. If you continue to make the wrong choice, then yeah, you're a loser because you're choosing to behave in that way. Like you are behaving as a loser. And then what ends up happening is the mind will literally turn on itself. Like you will believe that, and then you'll be stuck in this endless cycle of negative self-talk that'll never stop. And man, the bottom has a bottom. Like people will always get worse. Like when you think you've got it bad right now, which really isn't that bad. We all think everything like, oh, poor pitiful me, like my life sucks, nothing's going well for me, blah, 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 blah. But it's really not that bad. Like you got a roof over your head, you got food in the kitchen. Yeah, if you're messed up with your credit cards or you're not making as much money as you want, like put it into perspective. You have your legs, your arms, you have the ability to work, the ability to think, to create a family. It's really not bad at all. Like have a little bit of gratitude, but we get stuck in that negative self-talk and then that drains us of that energy, drains us. So The Way of the Superior Man, David Dita, it's a great book for you out there who want to learn more about masculine and feminine character traits. He even talks about a lot of men that have their families, a good job. They're like coaching a little league baseball team. They're unfulfilled. So a lot of guys, like we really do have a Mount Everest that we need to be attacking. And if we're not moving forward in something, like it doesn't matter what it is, then we're moving backwards. Like if you've plateaued, you're moving backwards because the world moves. The world is constantly moving. So if you're not moving, then you're going to get ran over. And a lot of guys are stuck like that. And since they're stuck in that endless negative self-talk, they don't have any confidence. But on the flip side is that's how confidence is built. When you tell yourself, yo, I'm going to get up at 4 in the morning and hit the gym at 5, and then you actually do it, dude, that's a win. And then next thing you know, you show up to work 15 minutes early, freshly shaved, clean, looking good, prepared. Everybody else is rolling in late. That's a second win. Then you have the confidence to make that sales call that you've been too scared to do, or finally file your taxes, talk to your CPA about whatever is going on. And then next thing you know, it's noon and you got like 20 of those wins. And that's how you build that confidence. It goes both ways. It's a double-edged sword. If you tell yourself you're going to do something and then you actually do it, then you're going to be super confident in your ability. You're just going to keep leveling up. Like, okay, now I've done this. I've got the six pack. Now I want to start a new business. And you would never have done that without the ability to believe in yourself. Never would people do it. But same thing, if somebody is 100 pounds overweight and they've been like that for their whole life, which, we can talk about that, then they're going to have a very, very hard time if they ever do even have the capacity to think that big.
Yeah, and you're right, because the capacity has to be there. If they have been doing something their whole entire life and it has maybe been working to an extent, maybe they're not fully fulfilled, happy, whatever it be, that is their circumstance. That is what they have already been living in. That is their base level. That typically is not going to bring them happiness, joy. It's not going to bring them the good life that they're thinking about. They should find a way to elevate themselves to some degree, to some level. I always say men should find a purpose, find a mission, give themselves a mission. It could be a mission every single day. And I mean, you can make it fun. It doesn't have to be something that is like a tedious challenge. Like, damn, I have to go to the gym and run 1,000 miles to train for this Ironman. I mean, you get to pick your battles, but you get to pick the right battles too. Many people are just picking the wrong battles. They will typically go to 9 to 5 that they don't like. They'll try to climb the promotion ladder. And at the end of it, they're unhappy. They're unfulfilled. We have this repetitive nature of giving ourselves more stress when we don't even need the stress, because we can be doing something that's going to be less stressful for us, something we enjoy more, and it's going to bring about more fulfillment. But yet many people live life backwards. They think at 65, they're going to be happy, and everything else in between is just, let me push through it. However, we can refocus our mindset. We can focus our way of moving toward that end goal. And that end goal is always going to be moving. So I don't want people to think I finally reached my goal. I got my 6-pack abs. I got my hot babe of a wife or whatever. I got my kids, successful career. That's not the end. We have to keep on chasing something. And the moment you stop chasing something, you're going to be going downhill. Think of it as if you're trying to go uphill with a boulder and the boulder is super heavy, right? You finally get to the top. You might think, now I get to relax. But lo and behold, as soon as you get to the top of that hill, there's another mountain, even worse than the one you just went up. At that moment, you should smile. You shouldn't say, damn, I got another hill. You should say, I'm so excited that I get to go through this other challenge. Many people think I'm going to get to the top and I'm going to coast down. But if you think of stocks, for an example, you want your stocks to keep going up. You don't want them to go down ever, right? If it goes up and it hits maybe $100 a share, great. That might be the top for you, right? That's what you thought. But then it goes down to $60. You're like, oh man, I should have sold. Or, I should have pivoted. I should have did something different. In our life, we get to make a pivot. We get to make a change. But sometimes we just get stuck where we are. And I want to talk to you, Lee, about your non-negotiables that stop you from getting stuck. Because I have found that when I talk to people who have good discipline, good habits, and a good method to make things work, they typically have really solid non-negotiables to keep pushing on in their life.
Yeah. And, I want to say the stock analogy is perfect. Would you invest in you? Is your stock rising? Is your stock going down? Or is it staying the same? You're going to put your money in that? Would you invest into you? That's a great analogy right there. I love that, because I'm investing to me. A few years ago, 3 years ago, I was living in a trailer, depressed, broke, had no self-confidence, smoking weed, drinking, literally like just broken. Just a broken, undisciplined, unfulfilled boy. And, what got me out was I hired a coach. And then what he taught me actually worked. It was like, damn, that actually worked. And I'll never forget it because he was 10K, $10,000. I didn't have 10K at the time. I had like 3,000. I was thinking in my head, I'm either going to delete myself or I got to do something because this isn't going to work. And invest in the coach. It worked. And I'm like, wow, that was really fun, actually. Like it sucked, but it was fun. And then I did it again and it did again and again. Now I'm on my fourth coach. And that's why I'm in this position that I'm in. I went from $50,000 a year in person training, like at an actual corporate gym, to then having my own business. And then now we've leveled it up to the first ever in the world multi-level marketing fitness company that is not selling physical products. We're selling digital products. Like we're selling this, and I'm teaching my coaches. We got 4 coaches underneath us. I'm teaching them the system. I've mastered fitness, like a master. We can talk about that. And non-negotiables, a lot of it is habitual because you just become the person. But my 2 biggest ones, and these are the 2 hardest non-negotiables for anybody. If people can overcome these 2 obstacles, they will be able to master anything. The first one is waking up early at a time that's uncomfortable for you. I wake up at 4:30 every day, and that's uncomfortable. And I'm talking every day. Doesn't matter what time you go to bed. I'm going to the Predators game tonight. I'm not going to be getting back till probably like 10:30, 11. I will be up at 4:30. It's going to be tough. But every time I've really pushed myself hard from lack of sleep and really suffered, then those are the days when I feel my best. Like that's when it actually means the most. Not when I went to bed at like 8 o'clock, because sometimes I do. Sometimes I'm just exhausted. My work is done. I'm like, man, I'm going to sleep. But it's those days where I push through. Those are the days. So the first one is wake up early, own the morning. That just is kind of a side effect of waking up early. We're going to own the morning if we get up early. We're going to read a book, like whatever. I call it getting in your PMA, your positive mental attitude. Napoleon Hill talks about this, the law of abundance, the law of attraction. Us, man, we own the morning. Waking up early is the first step to being able to do that. And then your process can be up to you, or you can use somebody else's or whatever. With the first one, uncomfortable morning wake up time. The second one is eating in that slight caloric deficit. That's it. Because those are the 2 hardest things in the world. You wake up early and then you eat in a slight deficit, or you eat at your maintenance, but we don't overeat. Like when you hit your numbers, it's not hard to find how many calories you need to eat. Like Google, or just you can Google it. You can hit me up on Instagram. Like I tell people what to do all the time. I give it away for free, but their ability to adhere to it is the hard part. And that's what I'm saying. That's, as a coach, I just keep people from hurting themselves. We get you to quit drinking alcohol. Then a byproduct of that is you're going to make better decisions. You're not going to overeat. You're not going to binge eat. You're going to just stick to it. So those are the 2 big ones right there. And then if I were to add a third one, because I do the third one, those are the 2 like I always assign people. Like you overcome those 2 things, you're going to accomplish anything in life right there. The third one that I find to be the most important, or not the most important, but really pushes my productivity, is writing down my task I need to complete the day before. Like before I go to bed, I write out what I need to do. I write it out. And then I sleep better. A lot of people have anxiety because they're like, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do this, I got to do that. I have no problem going to bed, ever. None. And a part of that is because I get up early. A part of that is because I work out every day. But another one, I'm not trying to like hold on to everything I need to do in my head. Like our brain is not made to store just tons of ideas and thoughts. It's made to generate these thoughts. And then you got to get it out. Like if you just keep all those thoughts in there, get it out. That's another reason why journaling is so good for personal development, because people would stay stuck in those negative loops, and write it out, get it out of your head. There's a lot of tools you can use, but that's why journaling is such a powerful one. So yeah, let's go with 3. I'm gonna give people the 3 because they're kind of hand in hand. Early wake up time at what's uncomfortable for you, a little bit earlier than what's comfortable. The second one is hit your calories. Not even saying hit macros, because most people don't have any clue about that, but hit just your calories. Message me, if you want to know what it is, multiply your body weight times 15. That's if you need to lose 20 pounds or less. If you need to lose 20 pounds or more, then you're going to need a more accurate equation. Mifflin-St. Joule equation, the St. Benedict Harris equation. You can easily find that on YouTube or Google or whatever. And you can find those numbers and then just track the food you eat.
Yeah, and it's important to look at those non-negotiables, I believe. The first two are definitely wake up early and to eat in a calorie deficit or a slight calorie deficit. I know people like to overeat. They do not even watch their calories. They just kind of say, well, I feel like this. I feel like this. And if you keep feeling like that, you're going to one day feel terrible. And people don't realize that, their feelings, like if they can't control them, they're just going to be a wreck later on. Let's say you have a 9 to 5. If you get off of work and you don't feel like going to the gym, you're not going to go to the gym because you don't feel like it, because you're tired. Okay, cool. You don't feel like cooking. You don't feel like meal prepping. Okay, so what are you going to do? You're going to go to McDonald's. You're going to go to Burger King. You're going to go to Taco Bell because it's the easy way. Yeah, sure. I know it's easy to do those things, but it's not beneficial for you long term. People who are severely overweight, it didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen because you ate one cheeseburger. It didn't happen because you ordered one pizza. It happened because you kept doing those bad habits, and you have to stop them. You just have to stop. You just have to say, enough is enough. I'm tired of living this life. I'm tired of doing the wrong things, and you have to have some accountability. And you said it perfectly in the beginning. Like when you were trying to change yourself, change your circumstance, you got a coach. You got someone who can hold you accountable. And you didn't get one coach, you got 4 coaches because you understand a coach is going to be a season.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've invested more money in personal development than a lot of people have invested in a 4-year education. And this has been when I didn't have money to start with it. But go ahead. That's how important it is. I believe it is to just continue to grow.
And I believe that is 100% accurate because people, when they finally reach a point, they need someone to say, hey, you're doing this. They need that person that's going to be their best friend. And sometimes your friends that you call your friends are not going to tell you the hard truth. They're just not. So that is why getting a coach and then investing in yourself, having some skin in the game is going to elevate you. I wish I could give coaching away for free. Now, I do have the podcast. I do have the YouTube channel. I have a lot of resources on my website. People can go splurge on those every single day, not spend a penny. But how much progress are they truly going to make? Maybe some, right? Some people probably make some life changes and it's just like, whoa, I can't believe you did that by yourself. It's very possible. But we start to look at the statistics. If you are doing the wrong thing right now, most likely you're going to keep doing the wrong thing. And most people are going to do the wrong thing when someone is not looking at them. So think of like a moment when you're by yourself. What are the things that you do? Are you doing the things that are going to elevate you or something that's going to detract from you? Most people are going to do something that detracts from you. They're going to get their smartphone. They're going to order that pizza. They're going to sit on the sofa. They're going to watch a rerun for the 15th time. And that is what is their comfort zone. I want to talk to you about the comfort zone because in fitness, it can be extremely uncomfortable. Think of running, Stairmaster, heavy lifting, maybe to the point where you're going to pass out. You're like, whoa, this is crazy. But there comes almost a high from it where it's just like, I can't believe I did that. I did that. I feel accomplished. I am confident because I did that. What is that gap between someone going into the gym and just elevating themselves from where they are to getting a little bit closer to where they want to be?
Yeah, it's different for everybody because some people are terrified to even go to the gym. So just them showing up and hopping on the treadmill is a win. And then they do that a couple times. Then they want to go and actually hit the weights and work out. And then then they get to that point, and then it's like, okay, I'm a little afraid to bench press. There's nothing but jacked guys over there bench pressing, but I don't know how to bench press. So it's different for everybody. Like we can all relate to emotions. One of the things you just brought up, I was thinking shame. What do we do when we're by ourselves? So many people, so many guys do shameful things. Pornhub, overeat, binge eating. Like I know when I was having my eating disorder, I could trigger it like that. If I'm not on it, then it could come back in one Thanksgiving feast. Now it's triggered the next day to do it again and again. And I always had that shame when I was by myself in the dark. And shame is the lowest human frequency on the chart. Watch out for that because it's a huge one. And to answer your question, comfort zone, Man, it's the most dangerous place to be, but it's such a comfortable place. You know what I mean? Like, man, it's so comfortable. That's not where we grow. That's why we have to self inflict some adversity in our life. Get up early. That's an adversity. It's comfortable to sit there to, sleep in. Like Viktor Frankl talks about, you have stimulus, a little space, and then your response. When that alarm goes off, that's your stimulus. You have this little moment to decide, am I going to sleep in or am I going to get up? And then you have your ability to respond to it. It's all the same. And I can tell you right now, in terms of actual building muscle, you have to create an adaptation. Basically, what that means, I'll keep it as simple as possible for people. You have to train as close to failure as you can get. Now, there's an infinite amount of ways to create that stimulus response for the body to adapt to. Push ups to failure, bench press, reverse pyramids, cluster sets, eccentrics, whatever. Literally, you can go on and on and on because it's just a million different ways to do it. But at the end of the day, really, it's just getting as close to failure as you can get. And that hurts. And a lot of people don't build muscle and they don't develop that lean muscle, that movie star that, they say, Lee, I want to look like you. That's because I trained that way because I like it. Like, bro, you're not ready for that. Like, I got clients all the time. I get their confidence up. I do a lot of gymnastics work, a lot of Olympic ring work on top of bodybuilding. And I am an Ironman. That was extremely uncomfortable to train for. And we'll get you to this level. And then I throw them on the rings and they're like, oh my goodness, bro, this sucks because they suck at it. And it's not fun when you suck. It's different. It's fun when you're good, but when you're not any good, it's not fun. And that's where that being uncomfortable comes in. Like, you got a lot of muscle. I can already tell right now. It would be like you probably go to the gym and you can bang it out. No problem. That's comfortable. But I get a guy like you that has never been on the Olympic rings before. It's like, all right, Lee, I'm ready to level it up. What's next? I'm like, Olympic rings. And then you hop on the rings and you're like, oh man, I feel like a giraffe with just being born with no legs. Like, I'm just all over the place with it. It's really just facing fear and operating out of a place of love. Like, if you really have the self-love and you really want to grow, because at the core, all we want, everybody just wants to be loved at every human being's essence. Because all we have is love and fear at the end of the day. If you really break things down to what everything is in this world is love and fear. That is all we got. We got the positive, the negative, the yin, the yang, the up, the down. And then it comes down to energy. Everything in this world is energy. I really believe everything. When I get in an elevator with somebody and they're in a bad mood, I can feel it. And I would call that a negative energy exchange. So I always do my best to have positive energy exchanges everywhere I go. No matter, I'm not going to sit here and say Lee is perfect. That's not true at all. Like, I actually wake up negative. Like, yesterday, I woke up pissed just for no reason. Literally just woke up like that. But since I have my morning routine, the non-negotiable, I go through my mental process to get myself in my positive mental attitude. I got rid of that in 20 minutes. And then I went about my day, showing up fully present, fully grateful, fully able to share my message and help people. So at the end of the day, man, it really is love or fear. And it really is, do you love yourself enough to show up as the best you can be? Or are you too afraid of what other people are going to think about you, you starting this new journey and you trying something different? Really is.
One of the things I want to expand on is because you're 100% correct, right? I can lift in the gym, no problem. I can do that. But you put me on some rings, I'm going to be like, whoa, this is a challenge. This is a wall for me. But this is mindset right here, because two things can happen. Number one, I can hate it, run away, not do it ever again. Or I can say, I'm going to conquer those rings, right? And then I'm going to put myself through that training. And if you don't have someone in your corner that's there pushing you, helping you along the way, it's going to be easy to fall into that comfort zone again. Because again, I'm successful lifting bench, biceps, triceps, squats, whatever. That's easy for me, right? I've been there, done that. But the moment I do something that's going to challenge me, it's almost like, do I really want to do this? Do I really want to struggle? What's the benefit of this? And the benefit is you control your mind. People don't understand that if they do something difficult, if they do something hard and that they suck at it and they finally get good at it, it could be martial arts. It doesn't have to be lifting in the gym or running marathons. It could just be the simple aspect of doing something that you suck at. And if you have not been going to the gym, if you have not been waking up early, if you have not been eating healthy, you suck at it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no way around it. Let's not suck at it anymore. The places that you grow are going to be the places where you want to quit. Typically, that's going to be a good sign. Not talking so much about quitting a job that's toxic, a relationship that's toxic. This is not that conversation, people. I'm talking about you, your mindset, elevating your fitness so you can elevate your mind. As you said, they're one. Physical and mental fitness, they're one. If you can control your mind, you can control your body, you can control your habits, you can control your circumstance. Comfort is going to be there. That's all the time. It's always going to be an option. We want you to look past it and say, you know what? No, I'm good. Think of, this is for the fellas, and then we'll give an example for the ladies too. Fellas, you're in the club. You see a 4. On a scale of 1 to 10, you see a 4. Okay. What do? Do you go and approach her and say, yeah, I'm going to take this 4. It's good, she's going to be easy to get. I'm already confident. I'm a 6, so I can get it. Guess what? Now you see a 10. You're like, ooh, I'm not as confident. I don't know if I can get that. So you settle for the 4. You settle for comfort. Ladies, you might see a guy that's, super well established. You might put yourself out there, say, here's my number. And maybe he ghosts you or something along those lines. Was it worth the risk? And this is a question I want to ask you, Lee. Is it worth the risk for someone to put themselves out there? And what is the benefit that they gain for aiming a little bit higher?
It is riskier to not do it. It's all risky. It's like Jim Rome. It is riskier to not do it. Like for me, when I was telling you about living in that trailer, depressed, having deleterious thoughts, it would have been more risky for me not to hire that coach to help me, because I would have stayed in that loop, that cycle, never would have did it. And now I took a step. Now I took another step and another step. And now I feel confident in my ability to overcome something because I cut the alcohol out. I quit smoking weed. I show up at the best of my ability, and I do my best to live moment to moment in this present time. Riskier to not do it. I mean, you got to think, and this is something I'll ask some of my clients sometimes, like, man, what's going to happen if you don't do this? Like, what's going to happen to you if, let's say you have an eating disorder and every night you don't eat all day, but then which fasting is extremely healthy, by the way. But if you have an eating disorder, a real one, which I did, and then you don't eat, and then you go and you binge eat like 8,000 calories, and then you feel bad about it, and you stay doing that. What's going to happen if you keep doing that? Oh, man, they'll tell me different things. All right, I drink every weekend. What's going to happen if you keep drinking on the weekends? You got to look down the road. What's going to happen if you stop doing that? How are you going to stop? Like, that's what's most rewarding about what I do. The fitness stuff, I've mastered the fitness so good that I've simplified it to a way, literally, I've worked with pro athletes. I've worked with Olympic athletes. I've worked with grannies who have never used a cell phone before. I've simplified it to where everybody can understand it and they can actually adhere to the plan and they can take it for the rest of their life. Like, I've given them the gift of that. But in the process of that, they quit drinking, they quit overeating, they start showing up better. That's the real fulfilling stuff. Like, that's what it is. And when I teach my clients that discipline, you have to love the process too. And I know I have to tell myself that. I'm continuing to grow my business. Like I said, I got 4 trainers underneath me. Like, I'm in a big time leadership position and my business is moving forward and I have to make investments. I can't allow fear to hold me back. Like, I really have to do exactly what I say I'm going to do, because it's not just about Lee. It's about my coaches. It's about their families. Like, this is very important. But what I'm saying is, if you allow fear to cripple you, then you're never going to do it. Like, it's never going to take you there. So I kind of lost my train of thought there for a second. I went sideways. I started talking about my business. What was that question again?
The question was, you definitely answered it, because I was asking about, is it worth the risk, right? And I gave the analogy of, you could be a guy and go for a 4 instead of the 10, and you could be a woman who just goes for the 10 and gets ghosted. So what do you do? Do you go for the safe guy after?
No, yeah, you're right. It's more risky to not do it. That's why I ask them, what's going to happen if you don't do it? And then people got to think down the road. And discipline. See, now I'm back on track. Discipline. Here's what discipline is. What discipline is it's your higher self ruling your lower self, not through resistance, but through compassion and understanding. And what that means is when you are waking up early in the morning and you're disciplined yourself, then you're doing it because the higher self knows this is going to put me in a good mood. I'm going to own my day. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to read. I'm going to journal. I'm going to get up before my kids get up. I'm going to make their lunch. I'm going to do whatever. That's why I'm going to do it. And that's going to help put people in a positive mental attitude versus if people get up earlier and they're like, fuck this, and they are negative to it, then that's actually going to hurt them. People really have to understand that they have to channel and tap into that positive mental side of it. So if somebody is disciplined on their diet and they're in that caloric deficit for, let's say, going on 2 weeks, starting to get hard, it's starting to get tough, but you're starting to see the results. Like, oh man, like I'm actually starting to see the results. Then when you have that meal and you discipline yourself because you just hit your numbers and you can't go anymore, but you really want that piece of pie, or whatever the case is, then you need to know, like, you can't be like, oh man, I'm eating like this because I just want to just look better. Versus, and they just have like a negative attitude for it. Versus like, oh, I'm eating like this because I know it's going to be good for my health. I'm going to be more energized and I want to get a job promotion at work. And I'm competing with Jimmy, who is more slim than I am. So I need to make sure I'm showing up. And that's really going to make a big difference. If you got Jimmy, who's a $180, and you got Johnny, who's 300, then they're more than likely going to give the promotion to the guy that's 180, that's better shape, even if they're both the same as far as performance goes. Discipline, yeah, it's huge. Higher self ruling lower self, not through resistance, but through compassion, self-compassion, and understanding, and the reason why you're doing it.
All the stuff we talked about today is just helping people step in the right direction, because fitness is not something that is like, all right, I'm going to get in shape and I'm in shape and I'm done. It's a lifelong commitment. Same thing with your mind. Like, to control your mind is a lifetime commitment. It's not something that you say, okay, I got my mind in check, cool, and then you just kind of allow it to just be there. Think of your mind as a house. If your mind is a house, brand new house, right? You just built it this year and everything is brand new. If you don't do any maintenance on that house, guess what? The house is going to fall apart. I don't care how new the house is. The house is going to fall apart. Just like that house needs maintenance, we need maintenance. And the maintenance might not always be working out maintenance. It's going to be the mental stuff too. Are you checking in, journaling, meditating, those things, right? Because if you don't, the world is going to push you any way it wants. And most of the time, comfort is going to push you into a place of hurting yourself. And that's not a place you want to be. And the conversation that we had today was not only just talking about the aspect of the mind, physical aspects, and trying to help you elevate, but helping you understand that you should invest in yourself. You should be taking the risk because the reward is going to be so much better. It's not so much sitting there, remaining complacent, waiting for your turn, tiptoeing in the world. We don't do that. You have to find something you want and you have to go out and you have to get it. And sometimes you're going to need someone to help you along the way. I think Lee is going to be a great person in your corner, a great asset. It doesn't have to be only fitness, because I think people think, oh, well, I don't want to train my body. We said the body and the mind are the same right from the beginning. You don't have to be a movie star. You don't have to be Arnold Schwarzenegger or something like that. You want to be a body. You don't have to be that, but you do have to get to that level. As you were saying at the end, if you're 180 pounds and you have a guy who's 300 pounds, who's going to get the promotion? You might have been trying to climb that corporate ladder all your life. You've been working that 9 to 5 all your life. You're struggling right now and you're trying to make ends meet. What do? My advice is to invest in yourself. we talked about in the beginning, or we talked about in the middle of the podcast, around there. Would you invest in yourself? Would you buy your stock? And if the answer is no, what can you do about it today? Today, you can take action. Lee, like I said, is going to be there to help you along the way. It is so important that you can have confidence in yourself, because if you don't have confidence in what you do, you're not going to have confidence in life, and you're going to always take the lesser road. And that road is going to lead to so much more troubles, so much more adversity, and that can all be avoided. As we begin to wrap up, Lee, I would love to get some final words from you, and then for you to tell the audience where they can find you.
If I'm going to conclude anything, it's going to be, guys, if you don't take that step, you're going to hate yourself if you don't already hate yourself. And that's how it really goes. If we're only moving forward, we're only moving backwards. And I'm a big believer in the 12 universal laws, the universe. And one of the big ones I'll talk about real fast is the law of rhythm. And that is, what goes up must come down. What is expanding and what is contracting. You are in a contraction phase with whatever it is, finances, your relationships, your physical health, then you just need to know that that expansion phase is going to match that plus more if you're willing to flip the switch, like if you're willing to do that. And an analogy is kind of like a preacher. Which preacher do you want to listen to? The one who's never faced any adversity in his life, grew up in a perfect family. Nothing is wrong with that. I love that. But what I'm getting at, would you prefer that person to lead you, or would you prefer somebody who spent 10 years in prison and really did some bad stuff, and then they turned their life around? Like, who's going to have more of an impact? So a lot of people, I can't sit here and tell people, I weighed 300 pounds and I lost 115 pounds, and that's how I got into shape. This is what you got to do. I've always been athletic. Always. I've always been very, very good. In fact, I got kicked off the baseball team. I had a college baseball scholarship. I got kicked off. I got in a lot of trouble. I couldn't join the military. Still cannot join the military to this day because of my record. I truly believed in my heart that if I didn't get in that trouble at 18, if I had a role model, then I would have made it to pro baseball, like I would have. So I can 100% relate to people that are not fulfilling their potential. They feel like they're not doing what they need. They're not moving forward in that full potentiality that they can have. If that's you, then don't let your ego hold you back, because your soul is not afraid, but your ego is just that reflection in the mirror. But your soul is not afraid of anything. Your soul has no fear. So channel the inner warrior, just make the jump. And it's like, once people jump off that cliff and they start to fly, like they're a bird flying, they take the risk to actually jump, then that's where beauty is at, right there. And people can find me. Best place to find me is going to be Instagram. It's going to be Lee Maasen, Leemaasen. That's a lot of my short form stuff. A lot of my longer form stuff is on YouTube. Go check that out as well. Put a bunch of fitness stuff, a bunch of personal development stuff, and shoot me a message. DM me on IG. It's really probably the best way to get in touch with me, or shoot me an email, lee@elufit.com. Check out our website, elufit.com, elufit.com. And yeah, we help tons of people. We help people get their mind right and their body right, man. Change their life.
Perfect. And I'm going to make it easy for everyone. All those links are going to be in the description box below. Everyone check out Lee, and you're going to be in good hands, as I said, because he's coming from a place where he was there, right? He wants you to get out of that place because he knows how much it sucks. And I'm a huge advocate. You have to be able to walk the walk and talk the talk. I'm not going to get a trainer who's 300 pounds overweight and have them start teaching me how to do rings and calisthenics and stuff. I'm not. I'm going to find someone who is disciplined, who does what they say they're going to do. All right. That is why I hold myself to such a high regard. I make sure that I remain disciplined. It's not just a moment. This is going to be a lifetime commitment. If you are a person who is living in the dark, it's time to flip that switch on, as Lee was saying, and start to make some changes. I want to thank you so much, Lee, for coming on, talking about your work, and spending a little bit of time with us. All right, everyone, I would like to thank you so much for watching that interview with Lee Maasen and myself. What went on is we were talking about fitness. We were talking about getting out of the comfort zone. We were talking about challenging yourself. Risk is going to be your greatest reward. I was just thinking about so many stories that I knew I was going to be able to tell at the end of this. So I was waiting to the end to tell these stories. The story is going to be relevant because it's going to help people understand about mindset, especially when it comes to fitness. Because when I first started fitness, I was probably 15 years old. I wanted to get girls, right? So I was like, I'm going to take some of my dad's weights from the basement. I brought them up into the dining room. My mom wasn't happy about that, but that's where I trained. And I trained a little bit in the basement, but I just found that I trained more when the weights were in the dining room. So either way, now I have all the weights in the dining room and I'm working out every single day. And I enjoyed it. It was so much fun. I started to get the body and I started to get the results and I was like, this is good. And I started to get the girls. I was like, this is great. All of that happened. And then I started to do things that were my old habits. I was a big soda drinker. I would drink a liter of soda a day. And I mean, I wasn't overweight. I was like super skinny all the time. It was just like I just had that metabolism, that body. But yet, what that soda did to me, it might not have came across as fat. Like I'm looking at myself and I'm just disgusted. It's like it was slowing me down. And the story that I want to say is I drank a whole 2 liters of cream soda one summer. It was after school had just ended and my brother was on the football team. I might have told the story before, but my brother was on the football team. And so I wanted to train with him and I would go to his summer trainings and I would go into the weight rooms with him and I would go run on the track and things along those lines. And I remember the first day we ran on the track. I think I ran a half a mile. I think I stopped the first time I was running that half a mile because I was out of shape. Yeah, my body was lean, it was slender, and it had some type of tone to it, but it wasn't truly in shape. So what I did was I gave myself this mindset of I would like to run a half a mile without stopping. Well, eventually I was able to run that half a mile probably within a week or two. From there, I was like, let me challenge myself. Let me start running a mile. And I started running a mile. And I would run a mile without stopping. No problem. Easy. But then one day I was like, you know what? I'm thirsty. I'm going to drink a whole 2 liters of cream soda. Well, guess what? The next day when I went to train, I was huffing and puffing at half a mile. And I was like, what happened from me being able to run a mile easy to me not being able to run this mile? And it was because I did something that hurt my body. And I didn't know it was hurting my body because I couldn't see it in the mirror. I couldn't see my body saying, oh, let me look at my body. It was not until I got on that track and I said, I can't even do what I was once able to do. And at that moment, I said, there's no more soda. Can I have a soda? Of course. Do I drink soda nearly as much as I did when I was younger? Heck to the no. There's no soda in my house. There's no Pepsi. There's no Coke. There's no ginger ale. If you're sick, we will go buy a ginger ale for you, but we don't keep it in the house readily. There's no cream soda. I can't tell you the last time I had a cream soda. Maybe I had PTSD about cream soda. I don't know. But what I do know is there's going to be things that help your body and there's going to be things that are going to hurt your body. And if you're hurting your body right now, if you're hurting your mind right now, if you're living in a place that is not healthy for you, you have to do everything you can in your power right now to get out of that place. And if you can't get out alone, this is where a coach comes in. I have talked about the power of coaching before. I have talked about the power of mentoring before. It is not something that's optional today. The reason why I started a coaching business after leaving teaching was because I saw what type of kids were coming out. I saw what type of parents were out in the world. I saw what type of adults, because I'm just a teacher, I'm just observing everything. And guess what? It wasn't good. There was people struggling. There was people unhappy. There was people looking for help, people wanting to change. They just didn't know where to begin. And I said, how could you fix that? Well, we could fix the school system, which is very, very difficult, but it is possible. But even after that, there's still going to be an aspect to mentoring, training teachers to be up to par, and it will just be too many moving pieces to get everybody on board. So the sad reality is we are just going to have broken adults by the time they're 18, 19, all the way up to 25 maybe, right? They're still developing, but they're going to be broken. And now these adults have no other option but to deal with it or to fix it. The sad reality is most people are just going to deal with it. Most people are going to accept their circumstance. Most people are going to fall into hard times. And I'm not saying that everyone is doing this purposefully. Some people, they just have a bad hand, and that is what happens to them. Now, just because it happens to you, it doesn't mean that your life is over. It doesn't mean that you can't change your circumstances. It doesn't mean you can't change your outcome. But for many people, they're just in a natural decline, from education to learning to enhancing your body, to enhancing your career, to enhancing your life. There's just so many aspects that have to be looked at when it comes to coaching and it comes to your enhancement, your personal development. If you are uncertain if this is a good option for you, I encourage you, get a consultation. Typically, consultations are free. The only thing you have to do is send a message, send a text, send an email, DM in a social media, and just ask a simple question. Because the question can be, hey, I have this problem. Can you help me? Hey, do you do this? Etc., etc. Do you have any experience with this? And from there, you can say, well, I would like to have a consultation. There's no skin off your back for doing that. You're not going to be any less of a person for asking for help. I know we live in a society where everyone wants to be a lone warrior, where everyone wants to do this by themselves, where they want to fight this fight alone. But there's an aspect to teaming up with people, to finding people that can help you grow, that can help you flourish. And that is so important, because if you are just going to remain stagnant, you're going to one day rot. I don't want you to rot. I want you to flourish. I want you to be amazing in all aspects, in all regards. It might just not be physical fitness. It could be in your mental fortitude and toughness, because our world is going to be always testing us, always trying us. And if we can't figure out what to do, the world is going to figure out an outcome for us that we might not love, that we might not like, that we might not be happy with. So if you're looking for something more in life than what you have right now, be it mind or body, reach out to us. The links are going to be in the description box below. We are here to help guide you, to assist you. And that assist is to make sure that you win. So stop simply taking the L's and start stepping into the winner's circle. My name is Michael Rearden. I'm a mindset coach. If you have any questions, email me coachinginsession@gmail.com. And I'll see everyone on the next episode of Coaching in Session. Until then, everyone take care.